Today we are going to be talking about our advanced hip and joint supplement. Why might your dog need a hip and joint supplement? Well, if you've noticed that your older dog has started to slow down, they're not getting up and down from their bed as often or as easy as they used to, they're not going up and down stairs as well as they used to, they might not want to go for as long a walk as they used to, they have weight gain, you notice an abnormal gait. Those are all signs that your pet may be suffering from a joint issue. So arthritis or something similar, they might be in pain. About 20% of adult dogs suffer from osteoarthritis. So it's, a common thing that older dogs, their hips and joints stop working as well as they used to the older they get. And this is definitely seen a lot more even in bigger dogs because they just have so much weight on their joints. It's the same thing in people. As we get older, our body just doesn't want to work the same way that it used to. And so that goes for our dogs too. So as your dog ages, the body stops producing as much glucosamine, which is a naturally occurring amino sugar that stimulates the growth of cartilage cells and has been known to normalize synovial fluid, which lubricates the joints. And so this is naturally occurring in your dog's body. It's naturally occurring in our bodies. We also have glucosamine that we produce for our joints. And as your dog and as you get older, you might not be producing as much. The body stops producing as much or stops producing it, which then causes wear and tear and deterioration of the joints. Chondroitin sulfate is also naturally occurring in the body, and that promotes water retention and elasticity in the cartilage, so it helps it move better. So it ensures, adequate shock absorption and adequate nourishment of the tissues that line the joint. And so, like I said, chondroitin is also naturally derived, and like glucosamine, it can also start to decline as your dog gets older. So what can you do if your dog is suffering from hip and joint problems? You can first start by putting them on a hip and joint supplement. And so today we have our advanced hip and joint, and this has glucosamine and chondroitin. Those are both naturally occurring in your body, but then you get them in a supplement, and that helps replace what your body isn't producing anymore. So adding a glucosamine and chondroitin supplement is the bare minimum. It's a really good thing to add to your dog's diet that if they are starting to slow down and have those signs of hip and joint issues. So any good supplement, hip and joint supplement, will have glucosamine and chondroitin because those are the bare minimum of what should be in your hip and joint supplement. Our hip and joint supplement goes above and beyond that. So it has the glucosamine, it has the chondroitin in it, but it also has several other things. So it also has MSM, which is a natural organic sulfur compound, and it's essential for healthy body function in pets. It does not occur naturally in your pet's bodies, so it has to be ingested through a nutritional supplement like our hip and joint supplement. It helps to neutralize toxins throughout the body and helps facilitate efficient waste removal within the cells. It has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, and it's a natural pain reliever. So it works to help relieve chronic joint pain by increasing cortisol levels, and cortisol is a hormone that naturally reduces inflammation. So this also contains MSM, which, like I said, helps to reduce inflammation that is caused by the joints and the lack of glucosamine and chondroitin. As the joints start wearing, that creates inflammation, and then that creates pain in the hips and joints. So when you reduce inflammation, you inadvertently reduce the pain that is associated with arthritis and joint problems. Not only does our hip and joint supplement include MSM, it also includes turmeric. And so turmeric has been used for a long time as a natural antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent. This also contains black pepper extract. The curcumin in turmeric is what is giving the turmeric the anti-inflammatory properties. And there have been studies that have shown that black pepper extract helps the body absorb the curcumin better. So that's why there's black pepper extract in the supplement as well. And then finally, there is yucca in here, which is a plant that is native to the deserts in the southwest of the United States and Mexico. Like turmeric, it's been used for thousands of years for a lot of things, but one of those is anti-inflammatory properties, so it's been used for arthritis. It's also a natural deodorizer, so you'll find it in a number of pet foods as well. It's becoming a more popular ingredient in a lot of pet foods as a natural deodorizer to reduce waste odor in pets. But it has yucca has anti-inflammatory properties, so that's why that's in there as well. So not only do you have your base of your glucosamine and chondroitin, but you also have MSM, you have yucca, you have turmeric, and black pepper extract. All of those things together help reduce inflammation and help strengthen those joints so they're not as painful and your pet can start moving better like they used to. And then finally, these are bacon flavored. So what dog doesn't like bacon? So I'll open these up so you can see what they look like. So this is what they look like. They have this yellow powdery substance on them. That's the turmeric. And so because turmeric is a naturally occurring substance, they might have a slightly different yellow hue to them every time you order. And that's normal because turmeric is, it can vary in its shade slightly. So, you might notice that one jar looks a little bit more yellow and another jar looks a little darker in color yellow. That's perfectly normal because that's the turmeric on there. There are 120 soft chews in here, and so in terms of directions for how to feed these, it's going to be weight dependent. So a dog up to 25 pounds is going to eat 2 of these a day, and then dogs 26 to 75 pounds will have 3 chews a day, and then your big guys are going to have that are over 75 pounds are going to eat 4 of these a day. And they're not super big, so they're just these little chews here. So you could give 1 or 2 in the morning and 1 or 2 at night, or you can give them all at once. It really depends on you and your dog. I'm sure that your dog would probably want to eat them all at once. So how long does it take for these to work? You'll likely to see results in about 6 to 8 weeks because you need time for the glucosamine and chondroitin and all of that good stuff to build up into the body. So if you think about in terms of the naturally occurring glucosamine and chondroitin in your body, it's going to be over time that they're losing that glucosamine and chondroitin. So the body needs time for it to build back up to the levels where you're noticing that your dog is walking better or moving better. So about 6 to 8 weeks to start seeing noticeable, visible results. And the good thing in reverse of that is that if you miss a dose or you're on vacation and your dog walker forgets to give your dog their hip and joint supplement, it's not going to negatively affect them because it would take another, month to 6 weeks to 8 weeks for those levels to go back down to where it's then you're noticing that they're limping or not walking as well as they used to. So, if you miss a couple of doses, it's not cause for alarm. You just start back up as soon as you remember again. So that's the nice thing is that it builds back up. So, missing a dose or here or there is not going to be an issue. If you're not noticing results, you can kind of do a loading dose. So giving a little bit more of these chews for a couple of weeks until you notice results and then cut back down to maintenance levels. And then that's weight dependent as well. So, you can give 1 or 2 more chews a day, depending on the weight and, kind of do a loading dose there. The last thing to note about our advanced hip and joint supplement is that if your dog, who eats pretty much everything, decides that they don't want to eat these anymore, they will not eat them, it's likely that they have a shellfish allergy. So you might not know that your dog has a shellfish allergy. In that case, because the glucosamine in these comes from shellfish, you'll want to find a supplement that does not contain their glucosamine, the source of their glucosamine as shellfish. So in that case, if you do, you should check out our bone broth powder. That's just 2 ingredients. That is naturally shed elk antler and free-range elk bone, and that contains glucosamine and chondroitin from the elk antler and elk bone, and that's literally the only ingredients. So if your dog has any shellfish allergies or any other allergies, the bone broth powder would be a great alternative for your pet for that hip and joint supplement to get that glucosamine and chondroitin. Again, if you have noticed that your dog has started to slow down, that they are not walking as well as they used to, then it's time to get them on a hip and joint supplement. If you haven't noticed those things in your dog, but your dog is, 7, 8, 9 years old, maybe even a little younger or a little bit older, depending on their breed. If you haven't noticed those things, it might still be a good idea to get your dog on a hip and joint supplement to help slow any future progression to arthritis or hip and joint issues. The great thing about a hip and joint supplement, like with glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM, all these ingredients are naturally occurring ingredients, so there are little to no side effects associated with a hip and joint supplement. So your dog can be on it long term without any side effects. If you start your pet on like a steroid or an NSAID, those do have side effects. So a long-term use of them is not recommended. So, you want to be able to keep your pet off those as long as possible. So starting them on a hip and joint supplement at the first signs of any sort of slowing down is going to help to either mean that they don't ever have to go on a steroid or NSAID or anything else that your veterinarian might prescribe for arthritis, or it may mean that you get to push those off for several years to where you don't have to be on those steroids earlier. So that's the great thing about a supplement like this, is that it tastes great, they like to eat it, they don't know that they're eating anything more than a treat, and it can help with their hip and joint health early on and help to delay or prevent the need for heavier medical intervention. So that's our hip and joint supplement. Again, if you have any questions about our advanced hip and joint or any of the other products in our line, feel free to reach out and we're happy to help. And I hope that it answered any questions that you might have about our advanced hip and joint. And I hope that our advanced hip and joint supplement helps to keep your dog happy and healthy a lot longer.